Hello everybody and welcome to Trading Arches with Archie. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that I haven't seen anybody really talking about lately. What this is we're talking about symmetrical triangles today. So what we're looking at here is AMC, and AMC has, over this period of time, over the since about February here, end of January, it's been creating what's called a symmetrical triangle. So what that means is that we have an entry point here at the beginning of the triangle, and we have a higher low followed by a lower high and a higher low and a lower high and a higher low, and on and on and on until it bottoms out at this apex here. Okay, what's happening is you have the shorters trying to push this price down, and you have buyers buying it up, and they're basically balancing each other out. And eventually, at some point down here, we are going to have a breakdown, and it's either going to go up or it's going to go down. But I want to show you, since history repeats itself, I want to show within AMC some similar trends that have happened in the past. So for starters, let's go back just a couple of days here. We had right here, just a couple of days ago, we had a symmetrical triangle. And this one right here, this is about as close as you can kind of get. So we're kind of looking about here. This is pretty close to that triangle, or we can go down here and we can touch more points. But what you're looking at is a well, we'll start here, and we've got a higher low and a lower high, and a higher low, lower high, higher low, lower high. But this one actually breaks upwards and then creates a new trend. Now, actually, it's not creating this new trend. It's following the trend that it was on prior to entering this triangle. So if you notice here, we've got the 144 EMA. It was actually on this downwards trend. It leveled out, consolidated, and then continued on this downwards trend for a little bit afterwards. Now, this is what generally happens with symmetrical triangles, is they will continue the trend that they began, or that they had going on before they started the triangle. So let's go back a little bit further, and we've got two more on consecutive days here. Oops, let's get this back. Okay, there we go. So this day here, we're looking at April 26th, and we've got a symmetrical triangle. We've got the beginning of an uptrend, and we have the entry points, the bottom low and the top high. We have a higher low, a lower high, a higher low, and a lower high, and then a continuation of that uptrend. Okay, and then one more example, just so you can see what we're talking about one more time here. We have the beginning of a downtrend, and we have the entry points, and we have a lower high, higher low, lower high, higher low, and we have this false break, which happened on that previous chart as well, the first one I was looking at, and then a continuation of this little bit of a downtrend here, that slope. So let's go back to the daily chart, and we'll look at what's going on here. If you'll notice, I drew up here. Let's get in all the way down here. This is a pattern that you see pretty regularly in stocks, and this is actually kind of what's called a rounded bottom breakout. So you have all these EMAs, aside from the 144, they're all kind of curving down together. They're consolidating all the way down here before pushing up and breaking through and coming up all the way through the 144. Primarily passing through the 34 is the break of that rounded bottom trend. And so what you have here is you have this little spike. Let me see if I can get this without getting the really large jump. Okay, so you have the couple of day push up, we have a consolidation, and we have another couple of day push up. And then you have the small squeeze, the mini gamma squeeze right here. So you can see we were in a slight uptrend leading into this symmetrical triangle. So what that tells us is likely we're going to continue that trend after we get through this whole symmetrical triangle, after this converges on this point. Now, I do believe we're probably at the bottom of this triangle right now here. And I think we kind of found that bottom at 9:15, I believe, today and yesterday. Now, it's going to probably round back up a little bit. We're going to probably top out at all of $11 and some change. May not even fully hit $11. But then it'll probably push back down, and I believe it will have a false break. And we will come down below this trend line here, back down to probably about that 915 range, right around in here. Now it's going to consolidate. It's going to probably stay flat for a few days. And then once they've built up enough pressure from the buyers, we will see the continuation of that upwards trend. Now that upwards trend is probably going to push the short sellers to having to cover. Also with these new rules, you're talking about the 801 that just passed. We've got the, I believe the 802 coming up, or the 002 coming up in, I think Friday. That one's going to be passing if there's no objections. And then I think another week after that, or 2 weeks after that, we'll have the 03 passing. So all of these combined are going to allow the DTCC and the NSCC, I believe. I may have to correct myself later on that. But they are going to be able to protect themselves from these hedge funds basically getting margin called. And they don't want to have to front the money for all of this. So that's the basic idea that I was wanting to share with you here, this trend of a symmetrical triangle and what they generally do on their patterns. As they start the symmetrical triangle, whatever's leading into it usually follows after it. Anyway, so like this video if you liked it. Hit a comment down below if you want to let me know what you think, and I'll talk about other different trends in the future. And subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you want to see more videos like this one. Anyways, thank you all, future gorillionaires, for joining me, and have a good one.